Welcome back to another edition of the Making the Madness YouTube channel, and today we're going to be discussing the Michigan State decisions that have taken place in the past 24 hours. First off, Xavier Tillman has announced that he is going to head to the NBA draft. Tillman, I think he should be drafted either, I think late first, early second round. He'll definitely get drafted. He'll be an impact player at the next level. With Tillman, one thing, he's a junior, he's close to a degree. He could have come back, I guess, to get a college degree, but, he is married. He has 2 children. So heading to the NBA, getting what probably will be a contract going into next season, even in a season in the NBA in which we don't know exactly what's going to happen, I still think Tillman should, I think he's a first round pick, but people say maybe he's a second round pick. He'll still get guaranteed money, I think, going into next season, and that's going to be big for him. And credit to him for working and improving so much to become that level of player. For Tillman, his game is interesting. He's probably the best interior low post defender in this upcoming draft. So teams looking for like a low post defender will definitely be looking to draft him in this year's draft. Certainly, he's a very, very talented player. When it comes to that, he can score on the low post. He's athletic. He can, run the floor. I think he's kind of he's a less, Brandon Clark's obviously, I think, a better player, but he's a, different kind of version of Brandon Clark. And Clark, has excelled this year for the Grizzlies. I think Tillman can go into the NBA and excel for whatever team he gets drafted to. Probably not going to be the Grizzlies, but, I think any team could use a 4-5 combo big man that can, both guard on the interior and, kind of, be able to stretch out and guard, wing type players as well. And so he's going to be useful at the next level. As for the next decision, it's Aaron Henry. He's decided to return to Michigan State. Not a huge surprise. He's a good NBA prospect. I think that is something that is going to be useful in the future. He just really didn't kind of break out the way I think a lot of people were hoping he would break out for this season. And, I think next season he can definitely kind of have a breakout season. If he can, become, I think one thing with him is he's kind of just a good player. He's a good defender, not really an elite defender, doesn't like cause steals or deflections to, stand out necessarily, or at least not enough. He's a good shooter, not an elite shooter. I think if he can, improve on, being a really good shooter, if he could become like a 38%, 14 point per game scorer, I think that's a scenario where you could see him moving maybe even to the first round because he's got the size, he's got everything you need skill wise to be an NBA player. I think it's just about putting it together. So if he can put it together, I think next year he can certainly be a potential first round pick. And I don't think that's too surprising if he were able to develop into that. We'll see what he does next season at Michigan State, but certainly returning, I think, was the smart move for him, and we'll see going forward how he can develop. Michigan State's going to be an interesting team this year. Obviously, losing Cassius Winston, Xavier Tillman, that's not ideal, but you've got Rocket Watts. I think he's going to be the starting point guard going into next season. How can he develop as a passer? He's a good scorer. He can shoot the ball, at a really good rate, but can he develop as a passer? Can he, find open teammates? Can he make the right play? We'll find out. Josh Langford, he's back. We'll see if he plays. If he plays and is kind of like how he was his junior season, realistically, before he got injured, he was a really good player that season. We'll see if he can kind of play for next season. If he can play and be that junior year before he got injured self, I think that's a really good player. He's like 6'5". He can shoot it at a really high rate. It'll just be about getting him on the court. Joey Hauser, the Marquette transfer, he's going to be coming over. I think he can step in and play some 4 and some 5. Malik Hall, I think, is in for another breakout season. He had a good season at times last year, most notably the Seton Hall, the Maryland games on the road where he kind of helped them win games. If he can be more consistent, that's big. Marcus Bingham is an interesting prospect. Gabe Brown, I think, is a really good player. Foster Lawyers, a good secondary, or he's not going to be the starting point guard, but I think he can come in, play some point guard, move Rocket Watts off the ball. This is a team that has some, they don't have the star talent at the top, like last year with Cassius Winston and Xavier Tillman, 2 years ago with Cassius Winston, Josh Langford pre-injury, even the year before Miles Bridges, Cassius Winston leading the team, but they're still, I think, going to be good. I'd probably put them maybe 3rd or 4th in the Big Ten, but they should be, once again, good, and I think they're a team that may struggle a little bit early in the season as kind of new players adjust to different roles, but by March, they say it, January, February, Izzo, April. Just like every year, it seems like Michigan State's going to be dangerous in March. Thanks again for tuning in to this edition of the Making the Madness YouTube channel. Quick discussion on Michigan State. Thanks again for joining, and have a good day.